What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Contractor Secrets podcast. Okay, I bought something really, really cool, and I'm excited to share with you what I bought and how it's changed my perspective, really surrounding just business in general. I think you might like this episode, so I'm excited to share with you. Thanks for joining. The episode starts right now. The big question you need to ask yourself every day is, do I own a job or do I own a business? And unfortunately, the majority of contractors out there own a job. That's right, they're a slave to their own business. But the other side of the fence is so much greener, it's so much better, and that's when you're finally fully in control of your destiny, your freedom, your time. And that's what Contractor Secrets is about. It's about taking back our time, building a business with systems, standards, values, procedures, putting yourself in the driver's seat. And that's what it's about. So I'm excited. I'm happy to have you here. Let's dive into the Contractor Secrets podcast. What's up, guys? So happy to have you here today. I want to keep this one short, sweet, and to the point. Today, I want to talk about automation. I want to talk about leveling up the trade. You know, it's funny. I talk to so many people about automation, and it's like, usually the conversation starts off by like, how do you even automate a home service business? It's like we're so far back in terms of the trade just being recognized as a trade that keeps up with trends. And in any trade, it's just, everyone thinks that just because the majority of our work is done with our hands in this business, that we can elevate a customer experience or elevate the way business is done in the way that other services that are well known do it, like Amazon, like Verizon, like all these big companies are using automation to interact with their customers. And although that's amazing for the customer, although that is a huge benefit of automation for the business owner, and for the companies involved, that automation saves them a ton of time, effort, and energy. And the trades are lacking in that area tremendously. And although you guys know my passion is Dripjobs, automation, bringing automation to the contracting industry, I really want to emphasize a couple points to help you see what the value of this is. Like, what is automation? How can it work for you? So first things first, I don't know if you guys have one of these, but if you don't, you should definitely get one. Okay, I made the investment in a automatic vacuum cleaner. It's a little robot cylinder that vacuums my house for me. And first I was super skeptical, right? I looked at it, I'm like, I don't need something to vacuum my house. Come on. Like, let's get come on, let's be real here. We don't want to be lazy, right? Um, and I kind of blew it off for like at least a year. Like, I was just like, man, I do not need something like this. Like, come on, we can vacuum our house. Like, come on, I'm not going to spend that much money on a little robot vacuum that's going to vacuum my house. Number one, it's probably not even going to work. Number two, it's probably going to break. Number three, like, how good could it really be? All right, let me tell you something. One of the absolute best investments I've ever made was this robotic vacuum. Okay, let me explain to you. First of all, I have allergies. Me being from up north, coming down to Florida here, I mean, my allergies are insane. Okay, I mean, I'm sniffling, during these months like you wouldn't believe. And a large part of that is dust, debris, things my dog tracks in. And, we have tile floors in our house. So, like, you would think that gray tile floors, you look at them, you don't think that they're dirty. And, ever since we got this vacuum, I mean, we let that thing go. And on a surface that looks clean, we pick it up and see how much dirt is in it. And it's crazy. It's literally full. I would say 9 out of the 10 times I've ran this thing, it is full. And my wife and I look at each other like, I think we've been living in like absolute filth for the last year, because normally we would look at our floors and we'd obviously vacuum and mop, but we would do that maybe once a week, and we're running this robotic vacuum every day, and it's just picking up all sorts of dust and debris. And I can notice a little bit of a difference in my allergies. And for me, it's like, hey, turn that vacuum on, let's see what it picks up. And that's automation, because we're only able to vacuum once a week, right? We're only able to really vacuum thoroughly. And how good are we really doing it? I mean, this vacuum's getting under couches, getting under, shelving, getting under areas that we wouldn't even look in. Okay. And the vacuuming that we're doing is manual. It's not as effective as this thing. This thing is hitting all areas of the house, for at least 2 hours. How long are we really vacuuming for? Maybe 20, 30 minutes. And again, we're not as accurate. Maybe we're texting at the same time, or we're holding the baby. And so what we are doing isn't even efficient, and we're thinking that it's more efficient than what something could be doing that's efficient and doing it. Okay. So my analogy here, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, is because first of all, I went through this mental exercise. Number one, I heard about it and I realized in my head, or I made the assumption in my head, that I wouldn't even use it and I wouldn't get value out of it. That was number one. Number two, I made the assumption that it's probably faulty. It's going to be less effective than what I can do myself. Okay, that's number two. And number three, I said, okay, this thing's probably going to break, and I kind of eliminated the idea. Okay, but it wasn't until I heard of a friend using it, or a customer, I believe, and they said great things about it. So I needed that confirmation from somebody for me to take the leap and to actually invest in it. I needed that little bit of a push. Okay. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of people when it comes to adopting new software in their business. No, it doesn't have to be Dripjobs. It could be anything. There's a couple automation apps out there that'll text your customers and things like that. But when it comes to automation, this is a new thing, right? It's something that you probably say to yourself, yeah, I probably don't need that. Or number two, like, it's probably not going to be as effective as what I'm currently using now. Or number three, yeah, that thing's probably going to break, and I don't want the pain of having to deal with something that's faulty, right? So you go through those channels. But really, on the other side of the fence, it's like, wait a minute, this actually works. And this actually works really well. And this is elevating my life, my business. Let me give you an example. So when it comes to really just vacuuming once a week, I liken that to really, how often am I following up with my customers? Like, how often am I doing that? And before automation, like, this was probably like the first year or two, because I was doing automation before Dripjobs. There wasn't Dripjobs like as of, I don't know, not even 2 months ago. So obviously this isn't, Dripjobs is pretty much an accumulation of what I built before Dripjobs all in one. So I was using automation. I was automatically following up with customers through email and text message. I was automatically, deal staging my deals. I was making sure I was super organized. But before that, let's go even further. Before that, how often was I really following up with my customers? And that's new leads, people that came in through Home Advisor or wherever I bought leads from, people that submitted a request through my website, and of course, customers that I sent proposals to. How often was I really engaging and interacting with them? And when I look at that, it reminds me of how I used to vacuum my house. It would be done. It would be done at a deliberate time. So I'd actually have to find the time to do it. So I'd sit down for however long I would get some uninterrupted time, and I'd actually sit down and do it. And when I did it, I was distracted, right? I'm a business owner. So, I would write an email here and send it. And then I text someone here and send it. And then I sit down and make a couple calls. They wouldn't answer. So I leave a voicemail. And then after that 30 or 40 minutes of doing that, I would go on to all the other tasks I have to do. I wasn't logging my results. I wasn't really effective. I mean, I don't really know, why I even tried to do that, because if people didn't answer, I didn't write a note. I just moved on to the next person, and that was it. I mean, that was my version of communicating with my customers on my downtime, right? Okay, fast forward to what I do now, and I look at it like, oh my goodness, like, I was missing out on so much opportunity and freedom, because this area of my business that's very important to me, which is communicating with customers, is automated, and I use software to do that. So for example, like, Dripjobs automatically follows up with customers for an entire month after you give them a proposal. And you might be thinking, well, I don't need to do that. Well, I don't think that's important. Well, my suggestion to you is try it, because it is very important when people respond to the emails and they ask questions about the product, the service, essentially maybe even different value points you put in these emails. Obviously, they're all done for you when you sign up for an account. But really what it's doing is taking care of your customers for you, so you can serve whatever other areas in your life you want to serve in a much more effective fashion, instead of sitting down for 40 minutes to an hour, if that, and sporadically following up, sporadically calling and sending text messages. This thing does this for you. And it's kind of like now, like if this vacuum is running right now, okay, I'm sitting here recording this podcast and I don't have to vacuum. Vacuuming's being done for me. I'm recording the podcast. Same thing with Dripjobs. Follow-ups are being done for me. I'm able to sell more jobs. I'm able to run my business, right? So that's just one aspect. But really what you have to look at is like, okay, number one, when you're making a decision, number one, is what I'm doing more effective than the solution that's being provided to me? And when it comes to following up, the answer is no. There's absolutely no way. This thing is following up all through the day, all through the night. It never stops. When a new lead comes in, they're getting a follow-up text message and email automatically. When someone gets a proposal, they're getting a text message and an email automatically thanking them for the opportunity. It has a link to the proposal, and it follows up for a month with value building messages. Okay, so that's another aspect. Okay, when someone puts in a request through your website, how long does it take you to actually field that request? So read the request. How long does it take you to respond to the request? Do you have to pick up the phone and call? Do you have something that you plug the information into? Do you type the information into a system? Like, how does that work for you? Let me tell you how it works for me. With Dripjobs, somebody puts in a request through my website. I get a notification. All I have to do is approve the request. They get a text message and an email with the date and the time and the location. I don't even have to call them. If they have an issue, they can message back. Okay, automation. Because before it was, I would get a request in my email. I wouldn't see it because I get so many emails. Then I'd call a day later and they wouldn't even answer. So I would miss out on that opportunity of someone that actually really wanted to work with us. They requested it through our website and I didn't get to them for a day and I can't get a hold of them. Then another day would go by and then I didn't follow up with them. Well, guess what? With Dripjobs, even if that did happen, you can set an automation to follow up with someone who came in through your website to say, hey, are you ready to book? And then put in that link for them to book. So there's so many ways that automation can create not only a great experience for your customers, but it could give you peace of mind. It could help you be more efficient, and it could allow you to focus on things that are way more important than mundane tasks. Now, here's the second side of the coin. Back in the day, even now, we would hire an office administrator to do these things. Like we would hire somebody to do the following. Number one, they would follow up with new leads. Number two, they would follow up with people we've given estimates to. Number three, they would follow up to get a review. Number four, they would organize customers and clients in whatever stage they were in. Number five, they would send proposals and, they would do all of these things. Like that's just like the bulk of what they would do. And then adding notes and adding tasks and all that stuff. Okay. Now I get it. Dripjobs isn't the only software out there, right? I'm not going to sit here and say that like, oh yeah, this is like the one solution. I know that that's not the case, but what Dripjobs does, it allows you to actually run $1 million business without an office administrator. Okay. Actually, we could probably get to 1.5, 1.8 without an office administrator simply because of the automations involved. Okay, obviously, if you want someone to sit there and send the proposals and build them out for you, absolutely, I'm not saying that. But right now in my business, we're operating, I have 13 employees. Okay, we're doing a little over $1 million right now. That's what we're pacing. The only office administrator role I have right now is somebody answering the phone. That's it. They just answer the phone and they take the request and they send it through Dripjobs. And I take it from there, and the automations move them through the pipeline. I assign a salesperson to them, and boom, they're getting an estimate, and then we're sending an estimate, and they're going through the pipeline within minutes. I mean, it's so easy, and that's why we're dubbing it the 24/7 salesperson, or excuse me, office admin, simply because that's what it's doing. It's administrating. It's taking care of administrative tasks for you, and that's the power of automation. And I really think that we've got to open up our eyes as tradespeople to see the value in utilizing technology to not only communicate with our customers, but to make us more efficient, right? So as I go back to my robotic vacuum, I'll never go back, right? Like it's one of those things that like once you try it, you're never going to go back. Anyone right now that has ever tried Dripjobs has never went back if they actually used it. Okay. I have people that have signed up and, they wouldn't even allow us to like onboard them. They wouldn't allow us to do a demo, and they kind of just like looked at it and they there's a little bit of a learning curve, like anything, like, right. But Once that learning curve is overcome and you say, oh, that's how it works. Yeah, no one goes back, because it's like, this is a new way to do business that allows you to be more effective and more efficient. And all it takes is one person to respond to an automation for you to be like, okay, yeah, I'm never going back. Like, how do you go from automating follow-ups to your new leads, to all your people that you've sent proposals to? How do you go from that to going back to manually typing text messages and emails asking if people want to move forward? And I think it's a growth mindset that you have to adopt when it comes to following up, because following up essentially protects your marketing. When you follow up, you essentially give yourself another opportunity to capitalize on an opportunity instead of buying new opportunities. Like, do you understand that, like, if you're not following up, you are missing out. You could be missing out on hundreds of thousands of dollars and just following up. I'm not making this stuff up. I've been in sales for 10 years now. I understand the power of following up. I can't even begin to describe to you how much money I've generated simply by following up with people. At one point, I thought they would never do business with me, but because my follow-up was strong and I was persistent, it inclined them to move forward. Now, they may have questions that they're afraid to call you to ask. They may be busy, that they may not, they may not pick up the phone to call you. They may not have your contact information. Could that occur? Absolutely. Absolutely. But what does Dripjobs do? Automates that follow-up, makes it easy for them to contact, makes it easy for them to open up the proposal. Inside of every follow-up is a button for them to click that takes them right to their proposal. So, I mean, we're definitely seeing higher conversions, and again, this is a touchless experience and it's not impersonal. People think that, oh, this is so impersonal. You're automating communication. Absolutely not. Every business that they interact with is doing this. We're not automating the application. We're not going there and automating painting or roofing. Not yet, at least, but for right now, I mean, it still is very personal and you can always pick up the phone. But what we're doing is we're just making every customer feel valued through every step of the way. And you've got to understand this, that all of your customers are in a different buying journey. And your job as a contractor / business owner, remember that's the most important title you have, is to make sure that people feel valued and important. And that's what we need to do. So I hope this opened your eyes to the power of automation. I really would love an opportunity to show you Dripjobs. Give me that chance. If you want to see Dripjobs, find a way to get in touch with me, and I will show you personally how it works, the power of it, what it can do. I will actually show you my business account, my premium painting account, where you can see how we're moving customers through this pipeline, and I'll actually allow you to experience it as my customer. You will get the follow-ups. You will see what it feels like to be valued as a customer, and from there to be a no-brainer. So I'm excited. I really hope you give me the chance, and I really appreciate you listening to this. So a little bit off script today, just wanted to make sure that I'm getting the message out properly about the power of this software and what it can do. We have a lot of cool features coming up. I mean, it's going to be an absolute game changer in our industry, and I'm thankful and I'm humbled that I have people to talk to like you to talk about it and to hopefully serve one day. All right, take care, guys. Bye. Dripjobs CRM is finally here. That's right. So Dripjobs is an automation platform for contractors, home service professionals that's going to automatically follow up with your customers. It's going to allow you to send invoices, estimates. It's going to allow you to send out blast marketing emails to individuals based on where they are in the buying process. This software is next level. And I'm reaching out to you. You're a listener of this podcast, and I want you to be one of the first ones to give it a shot. So if you want to see what Dripjobs can do for your business, I'd love for you to head over to dripjobs.com, sign up for a free demo, and get your team involved, and let us sit with you and show you how powerful this software is. It's going to save you time, it's going to make you money, and you're going to love the features that are built into Dripjobs. So if you want to check it out, head over to dripjobs.com. And we will give you first priority being a podcast listener to be one of the very first to try out Dripjobs in your home service business. I'm super excited to share that with you, and I'll catch you on the next episode.